Have to take a look now at our Capital One starting lineup for Baylor. Holly Hall, they just could not get her out yesterday.
Holly Hall was great. She had 2 walks. She was 2 for 2, had a home run, her 5th of the season. She's in that number 2 spot, right behind Kathy Shelton. Shelton with tons of speed at the top of the order, one of the best base stealers in the game. So Baylor really looking to produce runs station to station.
And in the circle for A&M, their double threat, and Mel Dumazic, she had probably the picture-perfect day yesterday with the huge lead. She only had to pitch 2 innings.
Well, that was exactly what the doctor ordered, literally, for Texas A&M. Dumazic battling a little bit of a rotator cuff strain. So what is Mel going to need to do? She's going to need to be efficient with her pitches. She throws the ball in the mid-60s. She's got a great curveball and screwball mix. But that key is she healthy? She has not thrown back-to-back games in quite a while. And she hasn't thrown 3 days in a row, since all the way back in March.
Has not thrown back-to-back games since mid-April, has not started 3 games in a row since the end of March in the big Alabama series that they play here in College Station. And we are underway. Kathy Shelton leading things off for Baylor. Baylor University in Waco, only about 90 miles from College Station. First baseman Nicole Morgan, third baseman Amber Garza pinching in, but Shelton, such a threat, was 0 for 1 yesterday, but walked 3 times, scored every time she got on base. And she's going to send that into center field. Emily Albus is there for the first out. So Mel Dumazic, you already mentioned it, Michelle. She has a strained rotator cuff, so this could be a trying weekend for her.
Yeah, definitely. And yesterday, just having to throw 2 innings was huge. Really, what it comes down to is her shoulders feeling better, but what about her stamina? It's very hot here in College Station. Having to come back and throw 2-3 days in a row could be tough for her, so she's going to need to be very efficient. The defense behind her is going to need to help her out, but most importantly, their best defense could be their offense. They need to put a lot of runs up on the board for Mel.
Averaging over 6 runs per game. Here's Holly Hall. We highlighted her in the lineup. 2 for 2 yesterday with a home run, also walked a couple of times and stole 2 bases. And you mentioned the heat. We are expecting record high or near record high temperatures here in College Station, about 95 degrees-ish with a lot of humidity. And like yesterday, the wind is blowing out briskly to center field. Yeah, and that helps A&M.
Oh, it helps A&M tremendously. One of the best home run hitting clubs in the nation.
Dumazic off to a great start with her first strikeout. First time Hall has not gotten on base in this regional. Let's take a look at the defense now behind Mel Dumazic. Megan May, the veteran behind the plate, and Jenna Stark, important over there at second.
Yeah, Stark just does a great job, and actually both middle infielders, Tyler and Stark, a strong combination up the middle. You always see that in elite teams, the ability to communicate and really work the holes, the 5-6 hole, especially for Tyler in that shortstop position.
Sarah Smith, the Big 12 Freshman of the Year, now up for Baylor. Their last Big 12 Freshman of the Year was Whitney Canyon back in 2009. Canyon is a 5th-year junior because of a couple of medical issues that she has had, first her forearm and then her ACL last year. But this is one talented kid. 364 on the season. Recruited for her bat by head coach Glenn Moore, and developing now into a third baseman out in the field.
And a very good third baseman. In fact, 3/4 of the way through the season, she had yet to commit an error. She's just got 2 on the season. That's pretty impressive to be in that hot spot over there at third base, especially again with a pitcher like Whitney Canyon up. Sometimes those balls get shot hard at you when hitters go the opposite way.
She was an outfielder and a catcher in high school and travel ball. 2 straight strikeouts. Mel Dumazic off to a great start. When we come back, A&M will be at the plate. Welcome back to College Station. Baylor set down an order in the top of the first. Now A&M coming up as we take a look at our Capital One starting lineup. Texas A&M with some big bats in their lineup, and Ty Sarchik, one of the hottest hitters in the nation right now.
And Ty Sarchik getting it done in the lower part of the lineup, and that's really what encompasses this Aggie offense. They can do it 1 through 9, tons of power. They also run very well. But with the wind blowing out here this afternoon, Whitney Canyon is going to have to keep the ball down in the zone against a team that can score a lot of runs.
And there is Whitney Canyon, the fifth-year junior, who already has gotten her name all over the Baylor career record books, and she looked very strong yesterday. Threw just over 100 pitches, which really was not a lot.
No, it's not a lot, and the key was she had no free passes, or let me say it this way, she had no walks. She hit a couple of batters, so she did have those 2 free passes, but the key for Whitney Canyon is when she is efficient and on the corner, she is tough to beat. She throws the ball in the high 60s. She's got a great rise ball and screwball power mix, but she needs to work from ahead, limit the walks. She did all of that yesterday, and also, Pam, she's got an excellent changeup. She's going to have to use that to take the power away from the Aggies.
Jenna Stark leading things off for Texas A&M. And you mentioned that changeup for Canyon. She did not feature it until the second time through the lineup. And it was really impressive for her against Arizona. Jenna Stark yesterday 0 for 2 with the run scored, also walked. She's quickly ahead, 3-0. I mentioned Canyon didn't walk anybody yesterday, and here she is a pitch away from issuing a 4-pitch walk. That one gets in there.
First innings are always interesting for pitchers. They're trying to learn that strike zone, figure out where the umpire likes the ball. And shaking out the nerves a little bit.
And there's the first walk surrendered by Canyon this weekend. Second base for Baylor. Jill Reed has stepped in now, 16 of the last 17 games, and done a good job over there.
Yeah, Jill Reed's a great story. She walks onto the team, and here she finds herself in a starting position in a regional tournament. She's a defensive wonder, doing a good job at that second base position for Baylor.
So Emily Albus now steps in for A&M after Stark drew the leadoff walk. Albus yesterday 0 for 2, but scored a run because she was walked. Jo Evans was able to get a lot of her bench players at bats yesterday. She was able to empty her bench, try to get down the sacrifice bunt. Albus in the top 12 in the SEC as far as laying down the sac bunt, so this is one of her specialties. There is Jo Evans. Yesterday's win, the 40th of the year for this ball club.
Baylor is going to be pulled way in. Defensively, middle infield in, corners way up. Texas A&M looking to really use the short game here. Claire Hozak, the catcher for Baylor, has a cannon from behind the plate. It's very hard to run on her, so you look for A&M. They're going to try and put the ball a little bit deeper out in front of home plate in order to move Stark.
2-2 pitches, a little chopper to the shortstop. Strickland has to go over to first and gets Albus, but Stark is safe at second.
Well, that's exactly what I was talking about. Albus trying to put that ball out of reach of Hozak. Buys her teammate Stark a little bit of time to get to second base. There's no play at second for Baylor. You can see the way, even though they're pinched in, Strickland's going to have to run in and throw that ball promptly to get Albus at first.
So no sacrifice credited to Albus, but in effect that's what it was. Stark now is at second. Here is Amber Garza. This is a ball club that has 7 grand slams on the season. Amber has 3 of them. But that one has popped up to Strickland, fighting the sun a little bit. Out number 2, big out to get Garza. Garza hit a grand slam in the crazy SEC first-round tournament game last weekend, and she is retired. So now 2 away, and Callie Lanphier, the freshman phenom for A&M, comes up. Freshman out of Montgomery, Texas.
Well, Pam, when you look at this A&M lineup, it really is phenomenal. Lamphere with 18 home runs is just a freshman, but when you look 1 through 9, 7 of the 9 are in double-digit home runs. That is power.
Hitting .308 as a team. Lamphere leading them with a .370 batting average. Along with her, as you mentioned, team leading 18 home runs, and now 53 runs driven in, is tied with Nicole Morgan for tops. No-2 pitch from Canyon.
I like the way Canyon's already challenging A&M, going right upstairs, trying to sneak that rise ball underneath the hands of Lamphere, the freshman.
Lamphere this year in the SEC second in slugging percentage. Had a terrific freshman year as Hozak goes out to have a chat with Canyon. They work very well together. Hozak a junior, so they will be back together again next season. Trying to go outside, but Lamphere wouldn't chase.
Well, 2 strikes. I think this is a position where you have to almost let Lamphere strike herself out or give her something low, keep it in the park.
Oh, that's a nice pitch that got Lamphere. She was totally fooled. So the leadoff walk does not hurt A&M. Does not hurt Baylor as we go now to the second inning. Ricketts and her team have been outstanding this year. Right now you can see that Oklahoma-Arkansas game as we speak on ESPN3. Watch that on your computer or tablet while you're watching us as well. And the elimination game over there is Marist and Fordham. Oklahoma putting up 2 touchdowns and a field goal yesterday against the Red Foxes.
You talk about the powerful offense here of Texas A&M. Well, Oklahoma, same exact thing. They can hit the long ball. They've got great speed.
Lindsey Hayes likes that first pitch she saw from Dumazic. First hit of the game for either team.
And Lindsey going to get a pitch that she can handle. It's a little bit sweet on the white part of the plate, and you can see the way she just goes down with her hands and drives it into center field.
Hayes, this freshman from Brock, Texas, and now here is Caitlin Tooman, batted third yesterday, and now has been dropped down a couple of spots. 0 for 2 with a walk and a run yesterday in the shutout win over Arizona. Hayes over at first, by the way, 7 for 8 in stolen bases this year. But we're dealing with a couple of catchers here that in May for A&M and Hozak for Baylor, and you're not going to see a lot of teams run on them.
No, they both have very good pop times, or basically the time from glove to glove, quick releases.
Squaring to bunt this time, Tooman. Tooman leading the way with a .377 batting average, fouls that one off, and the count goes full. And Dumazic puts the first 2 runners on. A clean single for Hayes, and now the walk to Tooman.
Well, Tooman's going to take a curveball in the inside corner and let it go. This pitch is in what we like to call the river, the spot in between the plate and the white line. It's a good job by Tooman to let that ball go and pick up the walk.
Now laying down the bunt. Nobody's covering first. Everybody is safe. A defensive mess up there for A&M. They'll give the bunt single hit to Strickland.
Well, a lot of times we talk about the fact that you don't just bunt off the pitcher and the catcher, you bunt off the defense. And Jenna Stark, you can see she's moving toward second base immediately, and that because of that, nobody is going to be at the bag. Nicole Morgan, the first baseman, is going to come up, and you can see good job by Amber Garza not to throw the ball, because a lot of times you just come up, it's an instinct to just throw the ball, but nobody there. Jenna Stark breaking towards second before first. So Garza, good job to hold the ball. Bases loaded now for Baylor.
Bases loaded, nobody out. And here's Whitney Canyon, the pitcher for Baylor, like her counterpart Dumazic. They hit as well as pitch. That one sails wide, so very different day so far for Mel, who pitched 2 innings against Penn and did not give up a hit or a walk. Here she is already giving up a walk and 2 singles in this inning, after a 1-2-3 first inning in which she struck out 2 batters. Canyon sends it foul down the line. Garza down there playing third for A&M. Yesterday at the plate, Whitney was 1 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt. Fans here not thrilled so far with this strike zone of Pat Lyon, who is behind the plate. Now another full count. Full count, bases loaded, nobody out in a scoreless game in the top of the second. Canyon, swing and a miss. Strikeout number 3 at a crucial time for Dumazic.
Well, Dumazic comes back and gets the pitch when she needs it. That's what championship ball is all about. You can see that pitch on the outside corner, and Canyon is just a little bit lengthy on her swing. Cannot catch up to it.
So now 1 away with the bases loaded for Claire Hozak, the number 8 hitter, 0 for 3 yesterday against Penn, takes a strike. Hayes at third, 2 minutes second, Strickland at first. And an 0-2 count to Hozak. And now Dumazic coming up big in a big situation. Back-to-back strikeouts after the bases were loaded with nobody out.
Our 4th strikeout of the game. She's going to her curveball. She's got excellent movement on this curveball on the outside corner, and you can just see she's painting the dish. And because she's throwing it right to Megan May's glove, she's getting the call.
Bases loaded, 2 away. Here's the number 9 hitter, Robin Landreth, who went hitless yesterday. And you see the pitch count. Mel's already thrown 11 more pitches than she did all of yesterday in 2 innings. And she is 1 strike away from getting out of a bases loaded, nobody out situation. Garza coming over in foul territory, and A&M gets out of it. Bases loaded, nobody out. Couple of Ks from Mel, and then the pop out. We're still scoreless. Welcome back to the College Station Regional. Baylor blowing an opportunity, bases loaded and nobody out. The top of the second got out of it. These 2 teams know each other so well from the Big 12. A lot of banners for Texas A&M. The rivalry goes back to 1980. They played every year since 1996. And you see the Aggies with the sweep yesterday, but they put the asterisk next to that. Whitney Canyon was out with the ACL injury. A&M dominating all time, and Glenn Moore just 1 game under 500 since he took over this Baylor program. Glenn now in his 13th year and has taken this team to 2 World Series in 2007 and 2011.
Glenn Moore, a great fast pitch player himself. Student of the game.
Still scoreless. Nicole Morgan leading off the 2nd inning against Whitney Canyon, who gave up a leadoff walk to Jenna Stark and then stranded her in the 1st inning. Nicole Morgan called the best athlete on this team by her head coach, Joe Evans. Puts that one out of play. Morgan yesterday, solid game, going 2 for 2. A couple of RBIs. And that 12-0 whitewashing of Penn that was a run rule victory. Texas A&M 12 runs on 14 hits. Penn only able to get 1 hit on the day. And looking over there at the field now as Pat Lyon goes out.
It's probably a chunk of clay. A lot of times when the games are over, this great field crew here, College Station, is, you know, they're out there pounding, putting that clay back in to make sure that the...
There's the chunk.
Yeah, there it is. It's chunky.
Chunky chunk. Whitney Canyon getting ready to throw again. 1-2 pitch ahead of Morgan, but that one sails high. Second strikeout in a row for Canyon. Coverage of the NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championships continues Sunday on ESPNU with 2 more quarterfinals. First up at noon Eastern, it's Carolina-Denver, then Notre Dame-Duke. Sunday at noon Eastern on our ESPNU as well. And you can watch it on Watch ESPN. And how about Cornell? Unseeded Cornell yesterday, or excuse me, last week, thumped Maryland, and today dominated Ohio State. So Cornell is through.
Gotta love the unseeded teams that pop up. And
yep, underdogs make these tournaments, don't they?
Absolutely.
Cassie Tysarczyk. She's the number 6 hitter in this lineup. That tells you how stout this Texas A&M lineup is.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at their power numbers, their slugging percentage, holy cow.
Hitting .302 on the season. 12 home runs, 38 RBIs, but boy, she has really been coming on in the postseason. Did well in the SEC tournament, finished the regular season strong. Fooled that time by the off-speed pitch from Canyon.
Well, that's really the key pitch for Whitney Canyon, is not being predictable, throwing that off-speed enough to keep A&M off balance, and then shooting the fast stuff under their hands.
Whitney Canyon, #1 all-time in Baylor history in wins and strikeouts, the only Bear pitcher to go over 1,000 strikeouts. Knocking on the door of 1,200 Ks, and she still has another season. Full counts fouled off. Canyon burst on the scene as a freshman in 2009 when she was the freshman of the year. 2010, she redshirted after 10 games with a left forearm injury. Had a great 2011, and then last year, torn ACL. There's a second walk given up by Whitney. So Tysarczyk down at first, and now Mel Dumazic steps in, the pitcher for A&M. Pitcher against pitcher right now. Mel yesterday was 2 for 2 at the plate before she was lifted late for a pinch hitter. Stayed in the game to hit after she was lifted following 2 innings of work in the circle. Takes that one high. Dumazic swings at an outside pitch, and then Hozak guns down Tysarczyk. We talked about how you probably don't want to run on this kid, and she proved it.
It's all about her pop time. Glenn Moore says she has one of the best pop times, glove-to-glove times in the entire country. Look at the way Hozak is going to come up, ball down to Strickland, and I'll tell you what, Tysarczyk is out by a mile. Look at this. Outstanding throw by Claire Hosak behind home plate. She's so efficient. She gets the ball, and the way she receives the ball and gets back to throw and has a cannon down to second base, it is nearly impossible to run on her.
Ty Sarchik was 10 for 11 in stolen bases on the season until that attempt. Let's take a look. And you talked about the wide margin that she was out. In softball, this is a ton.
She's got the ball already, so you can see that Strickland is just waiting for Ty Sarchik to come into the bag, and that's the back of the bag.
So now nobody on, and Dumazic works the walk. And remember, there's 60 feet between the bases in softball as opposed to 90 in baseball, so you can get there a lot quicker, and Hosak had her by a country mile. Should we be concerned that Canyon has given up back-to-back walks?
Yeah. I mean, Canyon's going to have to be a little bit more efficient. Yeah, I know it's tough throwing against a very powerful Texas A&M team. I think she needs to use that changeup a little bit more.
Now here's Megan May, the 8th hitter for A&M. Catcher, second team All Big 12 last year. Of course, the team in the SEC for the first time this year. And she takes that long but foul. Megan May, always a threat to hit a home run. Hit her 13th of the year yesterday.
And Pam, I think one of the things that we're seeing with Whitney Canyon, she keeps moving her hand to the back of her jersey, going down to the dirt. It's very hot here. I think she's sweating, and she's not real comfortable with her grip. You can see almost every time she's going down, and she's not just putting dirt in the palm of her hand, it's also on the back of her hand. That tells me that she's sweating a lot.
In addition to the temperatures being in the 90s here, it is very humid. Whitney is used to pitching down in Waco, but we're talking about record high temperatures here today.
That's why it's important for pitchers to learn to throw with rosin.
Big strikeout for Canyon. Gave up a couple of walks. Hosak helped her out by throwing out Ty Sarchik. We are still scoreless. When we come back, we'll have more on the Duminator.
I think Mel's throwing even harder than she has in the past. So she's able to attack hitters with her speed, and then she has great movement, which she's always had, and great change of speed. And nobody wants it more than Mel. I mean, nobody's more competitive than that kid. Just a blue-collar, hard worker, get after it kind of ball player. And I love to attack hitters with her speed, and then she has great movement, which she's always had, and great change of speed. And nobody wants it more than Mel. I mean, nobody's more competitive than that kid. Just a blue-collar, hard worker, get after it kind of ball player. And I love coaching Mel. She's really fun to coach.
Joe Evans also says about Mel that she's low maintenance, which is so huge, especially, you're the pitcher, you're the hitter, you're really the face of this program. And this is a kid who's pitching with a strained rotator cuff in her pitching arm.
So what are you saying? Some pitchers are high maintenance?
I believe so. Kathy Shelton puts it on the ground. Nicole Morgan quickly flips it over to Stark for the first out. Let's take a look at what Mel Dumazic, also known as the Duminator, has done. Did not get the win yesterday because she only pitched 2 innings, but impressive numbers all the way around. And again, and we discussed this yesterday, not just pitching. I mean, when you're hitting with the hurt rotator cuff, that's tough.
Yeah, it definitely affects you in all parts of your game, even throwing overhand when the ball's hit back at you. Dumazic, though, is a great athlete all the way around. She keeps her team in the game, and she's a competitor. Bases loaded for Baylor in that second inning. She comes right back with 2 strikeouts and gets the infield fly to end the threat. So she doesn't shut down, and we joke about it. Is she high maintenance? Is she not? No, she's not. When she's in the circle like that, she is game on. She's leading her team, and she's a competitor.
She is a gamer. Holly Hall with the single, and now a pinch runner out there for Baylor, and it is Justine Young, number 8.
Number 8, Justine Young, stepping up to the plate, third baseman, number 24.
So now Sarah Smith, one of the most dangerous hitters in this lineup, comes up for Baylor. Smith hitting .359 on the season, but she taps it over to Tyler, goes the short way. They get one, and they turn it! A a terrific double play to end the inning.
Dumazic getting it done. Tyler to Stark. Stark to Morgan. A&M out of the inning.
Thank you, Steve. Florida State had that crazy play against Mississippi State yesterday, and now the Seminoles about to upset South Alabama, who is a national seed.
And South Alabama had beaten Florida State earlier in the year, so we're talking about teams that know each other. South Alabama, very legitimate getting that seeding, having a great year.
Now we can update you. South Alabama has just scored to cut the lead to 2-1. Still down to their last out. Here's the number 9 batter, Brittany Clopton for A&M, leading things off in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Scoreless game. Canyon and Dumazic in a pitcher's duel, as we expected. 3 hits for Baylor. A&M has yet to get a hit. A couple of walks in the last inning. Canyon has issued 3 in the first 2. That went right into Smith's glove, flips it over, and Holly Hall had to hustle back to first because she was playing in.
Yeah, and Sarah Smith was like, okay, you got a lot of speed, so sorry, Holly Hall, I'm going to throw that over, even though I know you're not back at the bag.
Almost like a quarterback hitting a receiver on the run, trying to lead her towards the bag. Jenna Stark led off the game with a walk and then was stranded in the first inning. This is a winner's bracket game between A&M and Baylor. We have Penn and Arizona in a loser's bracket game coming up when this is over. Stark ahead 2-0. Takes the strike. Canyon this year, first team all Big 12, also has made a second team all regional squad. Fires it in at about 66 miles an hour. Continuing to go back and getting dirt on her hand between every pitch. That is foul. Race down the 3rd base line.
Well, I think the biggest thing for pitchers when you're dealing with sort of an issue, it's almost nearly impossible to wear a sweatband or a sweat guard on your arm. So that's why some pitchers will actually wear sleeves. I used to wear sleeves no matter what the weather was, because it would help me absorb the sweat. Or you would use rosin and constantly put it on your wrist area, not even just always on your fingers, on your wrist. But you have to find a way to manage your hands. A lot of times I wouldn't even let my arm be facing the ground because all the sweat would drip down into your hand. You would keep your arm up above your heart.
2-2 pitch. And Albus with the solid single. Strickland reached but couldn't get it. And A&M has its first hit. Women's College World Series returns to Oklahoma City. The action begins Thursday, May 30th at noon Eastern, live on ESPN2. For more information on the 2013 Women's College World Series, go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 89 NCAA championships. Always the highlight, one of the big highlights of our year, certainly to head to Oklahoma City. Bunt laid down by Albus, perfect sack bunt, and they just nipped her. She almost beat it out.
Albus runs very well, truly testing the skills of the Baylor corners. Very well executed bunt, getting it away from Claire Hosack, the catcher. Holly Hall's going to come in. You can see the way this ball's kind of laid down. It almost dies out in front. Whitney Canyon's not going to get it. Hall does, comes up and fires immediately the lefty down to Jill Reed. Nice execution on defense.
She was out, first pitch swinging. Garza, and it's booted by Smith, but she was able to reach behind her and tag out Stark. So Sarah Smith had an error looking her in the eye, but had the presence of mind to reach behind her.
Sarah Smith bobbles the ball, but presence of mind for the freshman to come back and try to get Stark. She does. They're out of the inning.
Scoreless game going to the top of the 4th inning, joined now by Texas A&M head coach Joe Evans. And coach, this is the first time in a month that Mel Dumazic has pitched on back-to-back days. Any concerns about that?
No, not really. You know, last night she only threw 22 pitches. Last inning she threw 3. I mean, you can't get better than that. So I think she's going to be just fine.
Coach Evans, this is Michelle. Whitney Canyon, 3 strikeouts, first time through the order against the Aggies. What kind of adjustments do you need to make to put some runs up on the board against the lefty?
I want to see us be more aggressive on the first strike she throws. I feel like we're taking some of those pitches, and those are our best opportunities to drive the ball. So I'd like to see us be more aggressive, not necessarily the very first pitch she throws, but the first strike she's throwing in there. I think it's an opportunity for us to drive the ball.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for your time again, Coach.
All right, thanks.
Good luck, Coach.
Joe Evans doing a great job here, taking this team to the NCAA tournament, and so she wants to see more aggression. We'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, I think that's key for both of these clubs is that, you know, we talk about this sport, it's tough to hit the ball.
And this is another first pitch swing for Baylor. Ticks off the glove of Stark, and Lindsey Hayes is safe at first.
And that's one of the keys. So Hayes does just that. She sees the first good pitch, the first strike that comes through the zone, and she attacks it. That's exactly what Joe Evans was talking about, what she wants the Aggies to do. You can see this pitch on the corner of the plate. She drives it back up the middle off of Jenna Stark's glove. But being aggressive, I think both these clubs against these very good pitchers have to be aggressive on first strikes.
So Hayes with the infield single. They go over to second. The question is, was she on the bag? And they're going to say that Tyler was indeed on the bag, and they get the lead runner.
Great job by Amber Garza to come up here and grab this ball. In fact, because it's hit so hard, she goes right over to Taylor.
And she did have her toe on the bag, but it looked like Taryn was kind of looking around for it, so they do get the lead runner. Hayes is retired. 2 men on first base with the fielder's choice. And here's Jordan Strickland in the last inning. Talk about being aggressive. When Baylor was up, Mel Dumazic threw only 3 pitches because they all went after, obviously, the first pitch. Bunt laid down by Strickland. But she's going to be safe. Dumazic with a little hesitation. Let's take a look.
Dumazic hesitates, but Jenna Stark is not at the bag. Look how far up the middle Jenna Stark is. She has a long way to go right now. I think that's why Dumazic hesitates. She pumps because Stark is not at the bag. I think right now Nicole Morgan should have gone back to the bag to take that throw when it was obviously hit right back to Mel Dumazic. That's all about communication, Pam.
That is a bunt single now for Jordan Strickland. 2 men now down at second, and here is Whitney Canyon. She struck out swinging her first time up against Dumazic. Whitney continuing to wear the shades while she hits.
Yeah, Ralph Raymond, the Olympic coach in Atlanta and Sydney, always used to say you can't cover everything. So if your middle infielders are going to be covering second, so in other words, Tyler, the shortstop's in the 5-6 hole, Stark is up the middle to cover the steal, then Morgan, the first baseman's going to have to lay back, and you're going to have to open up that bunt area that the battery is going to then have to cover. So there's always someone going to be a little bit out of position. You're going to be giving something up. You've got to communicate. I think Stark and Morgan need to communicate more. Stark needs to be saying, hey, I'm up the middle. Nicole Morgan, you need to get back to first if the ball is not bunted to you.
And a good job by Dumazic to hang on to it until she knew that Stark was over there. Now a full count to Whitney Canyon, 2 on, just 1 away in a scoreless ball game in this winner's bracket game in the College Station Regional. Ball 4, bases are loaded. For the second time today, Baylor has the bases loaded. They had the bases loaded and nobody out in the first inning, or second inning, excuse me, and could not get anybody home. Claire Hozak, who struck out with the bases loaded in the first inning, coming up. Baylor going to put a pinch runner over there at first for Canyon. It is Sydney Betke.
Now running at first base for the Lady Bears, number 2, Sydney Betke.
So Betke now at first, Strickland at second, 2 men at third. Just one away now for Claire Hozak. Came up with one out and the bases loaded in the second inning and struck out against Mel. Hozak this year 0 for 3 with the bases loaded, including that strikeout in the last plate appearance. Pounds that foul. Mel just threw her 50th pitch of the game. Hozak sends it long, deep, and a grand slam for Claire Hozak. Pounding the pitch, and Baylor takes a 4-0 lead. Well, she struck out the first time she was up with the bases loaded, and totally different story this time off Dumazic.
Well, Claire Hozak makes an adjustment, sees a pitch off of Dumazic that she can drive that pitch over the white part of the plate, and Hozak just goes down and drives it a yard. Huge hit for Baylor, big mistake by Dumazic.
This is only the 3rd home run of the year for Hozak. She had 12 RBIs coming in, and she now has 16 with one swing.
And that's the 20th home run of the year that Mel Dumazic has given up.
Now Dumazic fielding her position to get Landreth for the second out. But a huge clutch hit for Hozak. Now back to the top of the order, and Kathy Shelton, who is 0 for 2 so far. Whitney Canyon with a big smile on her face. She's got a 4-run cushion over there in the dugout now. That was, by the way, the first grand slam of Hozak's career.
You know, you go back and you look at that play where Dumazic was not able to get the out because Stark was a little bit late to second base. That would have been the second out of the inning. It also would have allowed Dumazic a little wiggle room with the bases not loaded.
Little things like that add up to big things.
Yeah, absolutely. When you give an opponent this late in the postseason 4 outs an inning, it's always tough to keep them off the board. And there Mel throws the off-speed pitch coming in at 49 miles an hour. It's one of the pitches we haven't seen Mel throw a whole lot of. Little surprising. Again, you don't always have to throw that pitch for a strike.
That one just missed the inside corner. Shelton on with the walk. She walked 3 times yesterday.
Next up to the plate for the Lady Bears, first baseman, number 6, Holly Hall.
There's a 3rd walk given up by Dumazic so far. Grand slam by Claire Hozak in this inning. Gives Baylor the 4-0 lead. Here's Holly Hall, singled her last time up after striking out swinging in the first inning. Shelton takes off, nope, fakes it, and scampers back to first. She is their best base stealer, 38 of 43 on the season for Shelton. Now she goes, another comebacker to Dumazic, flips it over to Morgan to end the inning, but it was one mighty swing from Claire Hozak, and it's 4-0.
Claire Hozak getting the ball over the plate, drives it out of the yard. A big grand slam for Baylor. They're up 4-0.
Welcome back, Claire Hozak behind the plate. She just hit a grand slam to give Baylor the 4-0 lead over Texas A&M. Joined now by Glenn Moore, the head coach at Baylor. 6 hits already off of Dumazic. What do you think you guys are doing well?
Well, I think we're looking for a good pitch. We're patient, making her bring it up into the zone, and you know, we're not tearing her up, but we're putting the pressure on them every inning, it seems like.
Coach, this is Michelle. Your lefty, Whitney Canyon, has shut down the Aggies so far. Why is that? What is she doing that's making her successful?
You know, she's worked a little more behind the count, probably has, you know, maybe a little more respect to their lineup, but we need to go right at them now and work ahead and try to limit her pitch count a little bit. But, you know, the ball's moving and using her off speed, and she's doing a great job.
So far, so good for her.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Glenmore's club got the bases loaded in the second inning with nobody out and couldn't score, but then Claire Hozak with only her 3rd home run of the season, 1st career Grand Slam, and you look at Canyon's numbers, and as Callie Lamphere leads off, and she got hit by the pitch. Canyon complaining a little bit because she lifted her leg up. Not a good way to start for a team with a 4-run cushion.
It was the 4th free pass of the game, 3 walks, and now the hit by pitch. You can see that's right on the knee. It looks like a curveball that just doesn't move back across the plate.
Now Nicole Morgan stepping in. Second on this team with 15 home runs. First pitch swinging, sends that one deep, but foul. So you were a pitcher, obviously, at a high level for a long time. Do you pitch differently when you're up 4-0 in the 4th inning than you would in a scoreless game?
Well, yeah, you should be more aggressive and go right at hitters. I mean, the last thing you want to do is hit them or give away the free passes and put them on base. You want to make them earn their way on. Remember, they have to swing. They're behind in the count. It allows you to basically move the ball a little bit more and change speeds more because they have to be more aggressive.
And that is exactly what Joe Evans wanted them to do, to be more aggressive, to go after not necessarily the first pitch, but certainly the first strike they see.
Yeah, absolutely. Hitting is hard. We kind of started to talk about that a little bit last inning. Hitting is tough. It's one of the hardest things to do in sports and be successful.
Canyon ahead of Morgan, who sends that one out of play as well.
So when you give away one of those 3 strikes just because you're like, oh, I got to get comfortable and I got to see the ball, you know, you're limiting your abilities to see good pitches that you can then square up to.
Lamphere, who runs well, is at first. That one's off the glove of Hozak, and Lamphere sachets down to second. On the wild pitch. So a hit by pitch and now a wild pitch by Canyon in this inning. And Glenn Moore's going to come out and talk to his junior star.
I'm sure at this point he's going to say, look, let's, you know, we've got a 4-run cushion. Let's make, you know, let's be smart. Put the ball in the zone, mix your speeds, but don't overdo it. You don't have to, you know, she hasn't even given up a hit yet in the, excuse me, she's given up 1 hit in the ball game.
That was a sacrifice, or actually a single back in the 3rd inning. That's it to Stark.
Yeah. So you know, I think the main thing is that sometimes we have a tendency to try to do too much, and when you're in the circle, I think at this point just rely on the defense and throw good strikes.
So after the little conference, Lamphere down at second. Morgan still in the hole, down 1 and 2. The loser of this game will have to play tonight against the winner of our 2nd game today between Penn and Arizona. The winner can just go home and wait to play tomorrow. And we think particularly important for Dumazic, and I know Coach Evans says she's not concerned about it, but this is a kid who has not pitched in back-to-back games in a month and has not started in back-to-back games in a month and a half. There's the University of Arizona getting ready to take on Penn. Arizona fell 7-0 yesterday to Canyon and Baylor. Complete game shutout for Whitney. Morgan sends it into center. Shelton is perfectly positioned for the first out. We are in the College Station region with Texas A&M, the number 16 national seed. A couple of shutouts yesterday, and a reminder that Penn and Arizona will play approximately 3:30 Eastern time coming up, or 5:30 Eastern time, excuse me, in an elimination game. And then the loser of this game will play the winner of that game at approximately 8 Eastern time on ESPN News. Jumping networks today because of the NBA playoffs. Lanfear at second. Here's Cassie Tysarchik, who walked and then was thrown out trying to steal by Hozak in the second inning. Tysarchik hitting .333 with runners in scoring position this year, which is over her .302 average coming in to this game, her season average. One-two pitch outside. Tysarchik, one of the captains on this A&M team, first team all Big 12 and also first team all academic selection. She graduated this spring in 3 years. Been out of high school for 3 years and she already has her degree, and now she's got to walk to the dugout. The fourth strikeout victim of Canyon.
Well, this is the pitch that's really befuddling the Aggies. It's that off-speed pitch that Canyon throws. You can see the way that Tysarchik's weight goes forward, and that freezes the hands.
Now it's up to Mel Dumazic. She walked her last time up. Lanfear started off this inning, was hit by a pitch, got to second on a wild pitch with nobody out, and she has stayed there. Is it just me, or do we not see a lot of pitchers use rosin bags anymore in softball?
Yeah, you don't really see a lot of pitchers. You definitely have to get used to it. It is an acquired, I don't want to say skill, but sometimes when you first start to use rosin, it almost feels slippery. But the more you use it, the tackier your hands get. You just got to get through those first 15, 20 pitches before you really tack up. To be honest, I was the same way. I hated it at first, and then I learned, oh, this could actually be an advantage.
It became your friend after a while.
Absolutely.
A&M 0 for 5 so far with runners in scoring position. Canyon getting big outs when she needs it. Here's a full count to Dumazic. Just spoil it to stay alive. Probably wasn't sure if it was a strike or not, but knew she didn't want to take a full swing. Lanfear still out at second base. Dumazic high in the air. The right fielder Tuman coming in, fighting the sun and making the grab. That was not an easy play, but Tuman is able to bring it in. They strand the runner at second. Still 4-0 Baylor. That's right, Michelle Gascoigne, a good number 2 option for Oklahoma. Here we are, 4-0. Baylor with the lead over A&M. Our tweet topic: who has had the best performance in the regionals thus far? Dallas Escobedo had herself a no-hitter yesterday. We've had some other great performances. And we have had some upsets and near upsets. Right now, Baylor with a 4-0 lead, thanks to Claire Hozak's grand slam in the 4th inning. Mel Dumazic going the whole way for A&M. And here's Sarah Smith, usually the best hitter on this squad, but she's still looking for her first hit of the weekend. Went 0 for 3 yesterday against Arizona, 0 for 2 so far today. Struck out and then hit into an inning-ending double play back in the 3rd. There's your first hit. Only a matter of time for Sarah, the freshman of the year in the Big 12.
Sarah Smith, just a great athlete, freshman with a lot of presence, goes down and gets the ball low and inside off of Dumazic and just drives it right back up the middle. Look at the way her hands straight down to target, head down. She gets a single, she hits a single. And you know, sometimes you try to do too much, you try to hit a home run off a single pitch. It doesn't work for you. I love the way that Sarah Smith is just very relaxed and loose with her hands and does a great job.
Hayes with the comebacker. Oh, Dumazic bounced it over. The ball came out of her hand funny. But Morgan was able to scoop it up. So Smith down to second.
Well, Dumazic is going to go get this ball, but throws it right down into the ground. And a great job by Nicole Morgan to backhand scoop that ball. That could have been a terrible error if that got past Nicole Morgan.
And that pitch gets past Megan May. All of a sudden, Sarah Smith is down at third.
But right now, to me, it just looks like Texas A&M is having a little bit of a mental, like they're falling asleep. They need to just kind of refocus. And
the pass ball on Megan May. Sends Smith, down to third.
Yeah, just refocus and get back in this game. Sometimes, you know, that one shot, that grand slam kind of knocks you back. They need to work on the little things, taking one step at a time.
And that is gloved by the shortstop, Tyler. Great play. Tuman is safe, and the run comes home. Great job just to get to that ball, but too much speed from Tuman, and Smith comes in with another run.
Yeah, and that's all about Pam having a runner on third, so the defense has to be squeezed in. Tyler's got to be in, so she's got to dive into that 5-6 hole. She does a great job, but unfortunately no play at home, and she's unable to get the out at first. So you can see Sarah Smith doing a good job sticking by the bag, but sees once that Tyler is down on the ground, she knows there's going to be no play at home plate. So Baylor doing all the little things right now. A&M little out of balance.
Caitlin Tuman with the infield RBI single makes it 5-0. And here's Jordan Strickland, the shortstop. Jordan has a couple of bunt singles this afternoon and scored ahead of Claire Hozak's, or scored on her grand slam, I should say. Last two home runs that Dumazic has given up have both been grand slams. They gave one up to Alabama back in the SEC tournament, and then one to Hozak here. Take it off. And everybody's going to be safe. That is just a picture-perfect bunt from Strickland, her third straight bunt single. As Tuman was taken off from first. And this is Glenmore softball. The head coach, be aggressive, be aggressive.
Absolutely. This is station to station. Yes, they got the big grand slam, but this is how Baylor normally scores their runs. They take what the defense is giving you. You can see the Garza way back at the bag. So what do? They drop down the sneaky bunt, and right now they're just taking what A&M is giving them, and A&M is giving them a lot right now.
Certainly not content to just hang on to this 5-0 lead.
Pitcher number 11, Whitney Canyon.
Texas A&M, by the way, this year 0-14 when trailing after 4 innings. They have no comeback wins after trailing after 4. Canyon puts it on the ground. Nobody's covering third, so Dumazic had to go to first.
Again, those are the little things that tells me right now that A&M's just out of sync. They're out of rhythm. Their defense, they're not really talking or communicating to each other. Someone on that particular play has to be at third base, because in a close game, you've got to get the lead runner. In this game, you have to get the lead runner. It shuts down a scoring threat.
So 2 outs, but runners on second and third, as Canyon was retired. So now Strickland is at second, Tuman at third, and they'll have a little conference with head coach Glenn Moore right now, with Hozak coming up. And the last time Hozak came up, she had a productive at bat.
Pretty productive.
Yep.
Not too bad.
Her first grand slam of the season.
Well, you can see the way that Claire Hozak just goes down. Look at her head. Look at the way she's short and sweet to contact. Long, aggressive follow through. We like to say short, too long through. And she touches all 4.
Now an opportunity to break this game wide open for Hozak. He was 0 for 3 yesterday in the win against Arizona. Struck out her first time against Mel, and then hit the grand slam off of her the second time she saw her. And with first base open, maybe Mel being a little bit careful with Robin Landreth, the number 9 hitter, due up next. Gives her something to hit, and that's well foul. Out near our uplink truck. Gotta give great credit to our crew today, who showed up today with some huge issues and somehow were able to get us on the air. Great job, fellas. Foul ball. 2-2 pitch on the way to Hozak.
Yeah, Pam, it really is a miracle that that we got on air. And when Pam says it, the issues with the truck, it wouldn't start up, we don't mean the engine.
No, no. With the production truck, yes, the router was not routing, and when that doesn't happen, you don't get on the air cleanly. So great job by our ladies and gentlemen in the truck. And there's a walk to Hozak, but probably not a walk that you mind giving up. With the first base open, you walk the person who just hit a grand slam off of you to get to the number 9 hitter, Landreth, and they're actually going to pinch hit for Landreth. It is number 44, Liz Paul, coming in to pinch hit.
Well, this is a big AB right here for both Baylor and A&M. It's a 5-run lead. If Liz Paul can do something, put the ball in the gap, and they can score 3 more runs, right now I can guarantee you that Coach Glenn Moore is thinking about limiting pitches for Whitney Canyon, trying to get his team that win and into the championship game tomorrow.
Warren Ainsley, by the way, warming up in the A&M bullpen. Liz Paul, who has done some pitching for this team in her career, 1 for 8 this year. First pitch swinging, pops up to Amber Garza to end the inning, but another run comes home for the Bears. They lead at 5-0. The winner's bracket game in the College Station Regional, Baylor shutting out Texas A&M with only 1 hit, 5-0. And Megan May about to come back up. Struck out her first time against Whitney Canyon today, but she was big yesterday.
Big yesterday. Her 65th home run of her career, the career leader for the Aggies, and she can go yard like anyone. And then today, off of Whitney Canyon, drives the ball yard, but it is foul. And how does Canyon come back? With the changeup. Look at the way that she's going to mix the speeds, and Megan May out in front of it. We talk about how you take power away. Well, Pam, that's how you do it. You shoot that changeup in about 20 miles per hour slower than your hard stuff, and hope you catch them with their weight forward.
And it was a perfect pitch after May almost hit a home run off of Whitney Canyon. Now Megan coming back up. Canyon so far given up just 1 hit in this game. That was a single to leadoff hitter Jenna Stark back in the 3rd inning. So no one in the history of A&M softball has more home runs than Megan May with 65, hit number 65 yesterday off of Alexis Borden, the Penn pitcher. We will see her coming up as Penn takes on Arizona. It will be interesting to see where Mike Candrea goes with his pitching decision. Shelby Babcock did not get out of the 1st inning yesterday. And it's all on the line right now because whoever loses that game goes home. Two-0 pitch on the way to May. Megan May, well documented throughout her career, all the injuries that she has been through. Injuries and surgeries. What, an appendectomy this year? She had a shoulder, or excuse me, a part of a bone removed from her catching hand as well. Then a horrific auto accident early on in her career, and Joe Evans trying to keep things loose over there with her catcher.
Take a look at May's swing. You can see she drives all the way in. Oh, it looks like, ooh, her shoulder. You can always tell when they drop that arm like that. It looks like the shoulder might have been a little bit sore.
Up the middle and a base hit for May. Strickland was unable to get to it. So leadoff on for the 3rd straight inning here for A&M, but still no runs to show for it. More action from the NBA playoffs tonight at 8 Eastern on ESPN. Carmelo Anthony and the Knicks fight for their playoff lives as they take on the Pacers. NBA playoffs tonight at 8 Eastern on ESPN, also live on Watch ESPN. Pacers trying to put away the New Yorkers tonight. For Megan May, because she is a catcher, not because she is, but there's a pinch runner in for her, as you might expect. And That is Taryn Tyler, who is the shortstop in the field for them, but not hitting. So she's able to come in and be the pinch runner. There's Brittany Clopton, the number 9 hitter. Grounded out to third, her only time up so far. This is the third time in this game that A&M has gotten the lead runner on. They've only left 3 runners on base. Joe Evans' squad trying to break through on Canyon. Clopton swings through it. Smith way in at third. Anticipating a bunt or a slap to try to get the pinch runner down to second. And that is right into the glove of the first baseman, Hall. And Tyler had to hustle back to first to avoid getting doubled.
Brittany Clopton's going to get around this ball. You always try to hit it on the ground. This is a good place for Holly Hall when she's up the line to be able to make that grab. No opportunity for the double play. So important for slappers to really see top a ball and try to hit it down.
Jenna Stark has been on base both times today, walked her first time, and as you see, had the single the second time. Watches that off-speed pitch trickle out of the strike zone. Whole different story for Texas A&M today after they just jumped all over Penn, winning 12-0 yesterday. 5 runs in each of the first 2 innings, 14 total hits. Their 4 through 8 hitters yesterday were 9 for 12 with 10 RBIs and 2 home runs.
Well, we talked about that, Pam, yesterday. They see Borden, who's throwing the ball for Penn in the low to mid 60s. Then they have a relief pitcher come in, Lee, who's throwing the ball in the 50s. Now they have to make another adjustment and go against Whitney Canyon, who's throwing the ball in the high 60s. It can be tough.
And a walk surrendered by Canyon.
It's the 5th free pass of the afternoon for Whitney Canyon.
4th walk, and also hit a batter. Now another pinch runner out there, that is Allison Garrett. Running for Stark. You don't often see a leadoff hitter pinch run for, right?
No, you don't.
I always have to check with you to see if I'm crazy.
Nope, not crazy.
At least not this time. So Joe Evans' squad trying to put together a rally here. Time running out. 2 on, 1 out. Emily Albus steps in. She has a ground out and a sac bunt on her resume today. First pitch swinging, sends it off the screen. Pair of pinch runners out there. Tyler at second, Garrett at first. A&M today 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position, 0 for 9 with any runner on base. That's how you get shut out. And so Baylor, on the other hand, with 3 hits with runners in scoring position, including the the big blast, which was Hozak's grand slam back in the 4th. And now Canyon falling behind. Albus with a good hitters count coming up. Puts that one in the air. Tooman drifts over for the second out.
And to me, this is where A&M has struggles, like we talked about with runners in scoring position. They're at bats. They're not striking the ball well when they have opportunities. That ball, a lazy fly ball to right field. I think they need to be a little bit shorter with their swings against Canyon.
And that was a 3-1 count. Garza swung at it late. Hozak gets it, and Canyon gets out of another jam. So A&M continuing to leave runners on base, and they're being shut out 5-0. We are here in College Station as we take a look at the Ann Arbor Regional. Michigan with the big shutout win over Cal. And so Cal now into that losers bracket. All those games on ESPN3. Pam Ward and Michelle Smith as we head now to the top of the 6th inning. Baylor with a 5-0 lead. And here's Kathy Shelton up for the 4th time today. We also have an update, Michelle, and now in the 9th inning, NC State and Tennessee are scoreless.
Wow, NC State doing a great job. They have really come on strong as of late. Tennessee with the Renfro sisters, Raven Siobhan. I mean, they have so many tools in that toolbox.
But they are scoreless against the Wolfpack. Now in their 2nd extra inning. Shelton walked her last time up, so looking for her first hit of the weekend, but she has walked 4 times in 2 games. That's foul. The Dumazic pitch count now at 85. Unless A&M can come back and win this game, she's going to have to pitch tonight. They're not pitched in back-to-back games in a month. That rotator cuff issue.
Well, there's a good chance Lauren Ainsley, who is a decent #2 pitcher as well, could get the start.
Shelton over to Morgan. Is going to have to hustle to get it over to Stark. Good job by Stark to get over there quickly to cover up. Shelton runs fast. 1 away.
There's first baseman #6, Holly Hall.
Holly Hall's turn to bat again. Hall just reaches out, sends that towards Albus, who can't get it in center field. And now Hall hustles to take the extra base, and she is safe. Give Hall credit for a hustle double.
A nice effort by Emily Albus. You can see that this pitch off speed just goes off the end of the bat by Holly Hall, and it's going to dump right in front of Emily Albus. Holly Hall doing a good job of reading the play. You can see she hesitates a little bit around first, but gets into second. That is typical Glenmore style softball, though. If the opponent gives you 60 feet, they are taking it.
Sarah Smith singled her last time up and has scored the 5th run of the game for Baylor. Back in the last inning. And she's quickly behind 0-2 to Dumazic. Tyler, the shortstop, long throw, drew Morgan off the bat, but then Morgan gets it over to Garza at third, and they throw out Hall.
Sarah Smith getting this ball in the 5-6 hole. Tyler's got to go a long way. Great instinct by Nicole Morgan, knowing that she is not going to have Smith at first base, comes off the bag and is able to get Holly Hall. That is great communication. That is an excellent defensive play for A&M.
Well, Smith gets the single, but you're right, Morgan with a very, very smart play over there with her eye on the runner. And then Morgan catches the line drive off the bat of Hayes to end the inning. So Morgan with a couple of good defensive plays. It's still 5-0 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. A steamy day in College Station. Baylor behind Whitney Canyon shutting out Texas A&M 5-0. Claire Hozak, first career grand slam, just her 3rd home run of the year. Opening things up in the 4th inning, and Whitney Canyon been doing the rest in the circle, giving up just 2 hits to this A&M team, which has a really potent offense.
Yeah, very potent offense. And when you talk about how you upset higher-ranked teams, it's all about timely hitting, making the timely pitches, the defensive plays. You've got to be able to do all of those things, and you got to have someone strong in the circle. And Whitney Canyon today has been that. She has used her off-speed pitches phenomenally. It's taken a lot of the power away from a very strong Aggie offense. You can see the way she works the corners, but to me, Pam, it's that changeup today that set everything else up for Whitney Canyon.
Last year, Texas A&M swept all 3 games against Baylor, but Whitney Canyon wasn't pitching. She was out with a torn ACL, and what a difference this pitcher has made. Lamphere jumps all over that first pitch and gets the lead-off single.
Well, and for just a freshman, that's exactly the type of leadership that you need if you're an Aggie right now, down 5-0. First good pitch she sees, she jumps on it, tries to start off an inning. For the Aggies, they have had someone on base every inning and have yet to push a run across the plate.
Part of the order up now. Here's Nicole Morgan. She is 0 for 2, including a strikeout against Canyon this afternoon. But as you see, she's got big-time power with 15 home runs. A&M with 92 on the season. Only Temple hit more. Temple with 94 home runs this year. Their season is over as they were taken out in their conference tournament by St. Joe's. And with Georgia still in the tournament, they're hanging around there too, around the 92 mark, correct? So big hitting teams, but A&M has been stifled by Canyon. Two-2 pitch on the way to Morgan, and she jumps all over it, but pops it up out on the outfield grass. The shortstop Strickland grabs it for the first out. Coverage of the NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championships continues Sunday on ESPNU with 2 more quarterfinals. First up at noon Eastern, it's North Carolina Denver, followed by Notre Dame Duke. Sunday at noon Eastern on ESPNU, as well as live on Watch ESPN. Cornell is waiting for the winner of that Duke Notre Dame game. Whitney Canyon has just thrown pitch 101. Holly Hall over to second to get the lead runner. Boy, Baylor is firing on all cylinders today.
It's all about making the plays that are presented to you and getting those lead runners, take some pressure off of your pitcher. And Holly Hall, smart decision. Her momentum is taking her toward the middle. Strickland is going to be at second base. Look at Hall. She's going to reach for it. The lefty is going to throw a bullet over to Strickland to get out Lamphere. You got to love right now, Pam, the way Baylor is playing. They're playing with no fear. They're getting the big hit when they need it. They've got great pitching in the circle from Whitney Canyon. And defensively, they've done a great job of shutting down any threats behind Canyon.
And Holly Hall is a kid who we saw earlier this year at Oklahoma who had struggles big-time struggles at first base, then was sat down for the Sunday game. That was in the Saturday game out of the 3-game set. And Coach Glenmore says really things have kind of turned around for her since then. And that was a very smart play. And you have to give credit, too, to Strickland getting over to second quickly to cover.
Yeah, and I think a lot of really good fielding starts with your positioning. I think sometimes in the game nowadays, we get a little deep.
That's deep from Dumazic. Over the center field wall. And Mel Dumazic gets the first runs on the board for A&M. Home run number 93 on the season for this A&M club.
And Pam, you just talked about the fact that A&M has all that power, one of the top home run hitting teams in the country, and they are able to jump on mistakes, and Dumazic does just that. Baylor playing great behind Whitney Canyon, but Canyon's going to throw a pitch that gets left over the white part of the plate. It's a rise ball. Look at the way that Dumazic just attacks that ball. She takes it from high to higher and just blasts it out of the ballpark. Wind blowing out, that ball well beyond the 220-foot fence.
12th home run of the season for Dumazic. And that ends 12 scoreless innings for these Baylor pitchers, meaning Whitney Canyon and company, in this, just Whitney Canyon, right? She had a complete game shutout yesterday. She had 12 scoreless innings, shutting out Arizona yesterday 7-0, and then Dumazic cutting the lead to 5-2 with that home run. Megan May always a threat to send one over the fence. Two out, nobody on now, and May swung through that off-speed pitch. A&M has had a base runner on every inning, and this is the first time they've been able to score.
And I think that's the difference between an offense like Baylor and an offense like A&M, is they typically score via the long ball, A&M that is, station to station more so for Baylor.
But they certainly will take a grand slam off the bat of Hozak any day of the week, like they did earlier in this game.
Absolutely.
May walks. Here's a pinch hitter, Brianna Dozier, coming up. Let's update it now. A&M now on top of Georgia, and Temple, their season is over. I think they're going to get caught.
Pretty good chance of it. A&M just with so much power. We talked about the fact that 7 of the 9 hitters in this A&M lineup have double-digit home runs on the year.
Alex Mazik into pinch run for May at first, and Brianna Dozier pinch hitting for Clopton. She was able to get an at-bat yesterday, was Dozier. Look at Mazik. Mazik, a freshman, as is the batter Dozier.
Now running at first base for the Aggies, number 2, Alex Mazik.
Canyon yesterday threw 106 pitches, now at 110 in this game. There's the pitch breakdown for Whitney.
Not bad. Couple more balls than what we'd like to see. Normally we'd like 2/3 strikes and about 1/3 balls. Canyon just a little bit over 50% on that, about 60-40.
Canyon ahead 1-2 on the pinch hitter Dozier, pinch runner Masick at first base. Got her. The strikeout of the pinch hitter, but Dumazic with the 2-run homer. A&M trimming the lead to 5-2 as we head to the 7th. Welcome back to College Station as we head to the top of the 7th inning. Baylor leading Texas A&M 5-2. This is a winner's bracket game. Some defensive changes. Megan May was pinch run for the second time in the last half inning, so she's out of the game. Nicole Morgan moves from first to catcher. Nicole has done catching when May has been out with her assorted injuries. Cassie Tysarchik moves from right to first, and Callie Lamphere, who had been the DP, now is playing right field. Caitlin Tuman leads things off in the 7th inning. Mel Dumazic going the whole way in the circle for A&M. Hit a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 6th. Tuman has gotten on base all 3 times this afternoon and scored a run. Claire Hozak's grand slam back in the 4th, busting the game open. There's Hozak. Tuman sends it out to left field and all the way back at the wall. Compton had to leap to make that catch. 1 away. ESPNW collecting the best social photos on the road to the Women's College World Series. Baylor gathered during the selection show that was last Sunday night on ESPNU. And they were all getting ready to come here, make the 90-mile trip on a bus. Garza gobbles that up from Strickland for the 2nd out. You can tweet your photos to hashtag WCWS, then log on to ESPNW.com/softball. And as we mentioned, that softball fans, sports fans no doubt know, Baylor come up here a lot, and both these teams were in the Big 12. And now that A&M has gone over to the SEC, this is the first time they have met each other this year. Whitney Canyon, oh, and that's off of the glove of Tysarchik, who just went over to first. Dumazic gives her a little grief as she comes over with a big smile on her face. So the brand new first baseman, it's 3 unassisted, but with a little flair to it. Last outs for A&M. Welcome back. Baylor 3 outs away from advancing on to tomorrow's game as they lead Texas A&M 5-2. They've gotten good pitching from Whitney Canyon, but she's gotten some good defense behind her.
She's gotten some great defense. Claire Hozak hoses the ball down to Strickland for the out. You gotta love the way Sarah Smith, she bobbles the ball, but presence of mind to come back and make the tag on the runner. And then look at the way that Holly Hall, momentum, bringing her up the middle, fires the ball to Strickland to get the lead runner. So right now, Baylor just doing everything right. They get the clutch big hit from Claire Hozak, the grand slam. They're getting good pitching in the circle by Whitney Canyon and excellent defense in the field by the infield. You gotta love the way Baylor right now is putting it all together, and that's the recipe of an upset.
Baylor shut out Arizona yesterday 7-0. Just the 2-run home run from Dumazic off of Canyon so far in 2 games. To the top of the order for Texas A&M and Jenna Stark. About a half hour after this game is over, we will have an elimination game between Arizona and Penn, the Ivy League champs, who were shut out by A&M yesterday. That's smacked, but well foul. The rally gloves on the heads of the A&M kids, because they don't wear caps anymore, so you can't do a rally cap.
Nope. Rally visor. There's not many visors either.
Well, you're trying your hardest to bring that back.
Oh, I do. Man, I'm like Cousin It out there. You know, I got to have something that keeps my hair out of the eyes.
Canyon goes upstairs to get Stark. Strikeout number 6 for Whitney.
Whitney Canyon has used all her tools here this afternoon. This is the rise ball. Look at the way she's going to put it right in the eyes of Stark, and she gets Stark to swing through it. Look at the location of this pitch. Stark pulls her head. Strikeout number 6 for Canyon.
Emily Albus back in the game after she was pinch hit for last time up, and that is off the glove of Reed at second. Albus is safe with one away. Give her credit for the infield single. Now here's Amber Garza. First, let's take a look at that last play and what Reed could or could not do here.
Well, Albus is going to drive it back up the middle. Jill Reed is pulled up in the line. It's a difficult play. She does a good job of keeping the ball in front of her, keeping it on the infield, but that's a tough play. Even if she would have fielded that cleanly, I don't think she would have had Albus at first.
Yep, good call by the official scorer to give credit to Albus with the single. A&M 1 for 15 with runners on today. That one hit was Dumazic's 2-run homer in the last inning. Garza is always a threat. Looking for her first hit today off of Canyon. Garza 10 home runs on the season, 3 of them grand slams, including one in the SEC tournament against Alabama last week. And that is a single over the head of Smith, 2 on, and just 1 out here for A&M.
And this is exactly what Texas A&M needed. They didn't need Garza to come up and hit a home run. They needed Garza to come up and get on base. Down by 3 runs. The Aggies need base runners at this point.
Lanfear, the tying run, comes to the plate. Lanfear is a tremendous freshman player. And Lanfear takes it out of the park for the game-tying home run. The freshman phenom does it again, and we have a whole new ball game.
And Pam, that's exactly what I was talking about. Garza gets on base. Albus leads off the inning. Lanfear comes up with the big blow, the 3-run home run to tie up the game. It's all about timing and getting the right hits at the right time, and that's exactly what the Aggies needed. Lanfear, the freshman, she swings fearless. She gets a pitch up in the zone. It's on the hands, and look at the way she extends. She's short and quick to contact, long, aggressive follow-through, and with the wind blowing out, you gotta love what Lanfear just did. Ties up this game at 5 apiece.
Her team leading 19th home run, 56 runs driven in now. And Whitney Canyon had been cruising. A&M with a 2-run homer from Dumazic in the bottom of the 6th. Now a 3-run shot from Lanfear. And we're all tied up. And now here's Nicole Morgan.
And that's just how quick the Aggies can score.
It's the long ball, right?
It's the long ball. They score their home runs via the long ball. You know, you go back and you look at Baylor earlier on in this game. That's why Glenn Moore, bases loaded, was using pinch hitters, was trying to get something, you know, to happen. The 5th inning, Baylor left the bases loaded.
And now it's Morgan's turn. A walk-off home run for Nicole Morgan as Texas A&M comes up with 4 runs in the bottom of the 7th. To take the game away from Baylor. Whitney Canyon had been brilliant with shutout softball over 1 game plus 5 innings. Gave up the home run to Dumazic in the 6th. The 3-run shot to Lanfear to tie it here in the 7th, and then Morgan's solo shot and that is now 95 home runs on the year for A&M. They passed Temple in 2 innings.
Unbelievable. The Aggies, they can score so quickly. You see the way that Nicole Morgan waits on the changeup, and you can see Whitney Canyon immediately walks off the field. That is an off-speed pitch that Nicole Morgan is waiting on, drives that out of the yard. And just like that, 4 runs across the board and the walk-off for the Aggies.
That is the first win this year for A&M after trailing after 4 innings. They were 0-14 in that situation. But the late manager for the Orioles, Earl Weaver, talked about Dr. Longball making house calls. They got 3 of them in 2 innings here to take this game away from Baylor, so A&M can relax the rest of the day and then come back tomorrow. They're 1 win away now from advancing on to the Super Regional in Oklahoma.
And most importantly, they can rest Mel Dumazic with that shoulder that that's been bothering her a little bit, not having to come back and throw another game tonight, or worse yet, Pam, if they would have lost, potentially have to win 2 tomorrow. This puts A&M in the driver's seat.
So there you go. They are indeed in the driver's seat on their home field, and we will see them tomorrow afternoon. We will see Baylor later tonight in an elimination game. The Bears will play the winner of the Arizona-Penn game, which is coming up next here on ESPN. But what a finish here at College Station. 3 more home runs for the most lethal home run hitting team in the nation this year.
Oh, hats off to the Aggies. Baylor, a good game, but just comes up a little bit short. Baylor opportunities early in the game and late in the game to score more runs, but the bases loaded and don't get it done. Whitney Canyon falters a little bit here in the bottom of the 7th, and the Aggies showing why they are one of the best teams in the nation, as well as the most powerful team in the nation, with 95 home runs now on the season.
Texas A&M 6 runs on 8 hits and no errors. Baylor 5 runs on 11 hits and no errors. But the 3 big home runs, Hozak got the grand slam for Baylor. They led 5-0 going into the bottom of the 6th, and the 2-run shot from Dumazic, 3-run shot by Lanfear, followed by the solo walk-off by Nicole Morgan. And Nicole Morgan is our Capital One player of the game. Had a nice defensive play earlier in this game over at first, and then the walk-off. And Joe Evans joins us now live down on the field. Coach Evans, congratulations. It was looking a little sketchy there. Canyon was in control. What turned the tide?
Well, geez, defensively, we got to be better than that. We just really put ourselves in a huge bind, giving them way more outs per inning than we need to do, and we can take care of that. But, you know, Canyon does a great job. But I just kept telling our kids, keep fighting, keep fighting. We're going to chase her. We're going to chase her. And, you know, she did a great job out there. Her changeup was just deadly. I mean, it's almost not fair when you got a kid that can throw that hard and throw that changeup for a strike. I was really proud of our kids how through the game we made some adjustments in terms of understanding she's going to throw that for a strike, figuring out a way to put the thing in play, try to hit strikes early. I still think we could be a lot more aggressive early in the count, but you know, Canyon did a terrific job, and her defense played great.
Coach Evans, when you talk about almost not fair, 95 home runs on the year, what makes your team so powerful?
All right, touche, Michelle. Well, you know, I love that we get up there and get our hacks. We don't get cheated. We talk about that. Don't you dare go up there and think you're going to draw a walk right now when you could drive this ball. And I'll tell you, Nicole Morgan was due. She hasn't hit a home run for a while, and she's such a great hitter and such a great athlete. I love seeing her up in that situation, and she's the one. And our freshman, Callie Lanfear, getting up there and hitting that huge home run. But Amber Garza, you know, figuring out a way to just go with the pitch and get it in there. And, of course, Emily Alvis leading off the inning. But, you know, you can see our fight. We're a team that fights, and we're not always perfect, but I promise you we're going to fight hard.
You certainly did today. I got to ask you about Mel Dumazic. You said earlier that you were confident she could come back and pitch tonight, but I would think this is a huge relief for everyone that Mel could just relax for the rest of the night, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, it wasn't looking good for us in terms of her having to throw again in this heat and then turn around tomorrow and throw twice. I mean, that would have been really, really tough for her. So we'll get her, you know, basically in the ice bath right now, and she'll probably be iced down all night long and all morning. But, you know, the kid's a competitor. She's a fighter. I thought she fought really hard after she gave up that changeup. She didn't quit. She didn't feel sorry for herself. And that's the kind of kid that's been leading us all year long. So I'm proud of her to keep us at least within 5 so that we had a chance to come out and win it.
And then, of course, she got you going on the comeback with her home run. Thank you so much, Coach Evans. I hope you can relax tonight, and we will see you tomorrow.
Okay, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Huge win for A&M. They scored 6 runs in the last 2 innings, winning 6-5. Coming up next, an NCAA championship update, followed by our first elimination game. Arizona will take on Penn. For Michelle Smith and our entire crew, I'm Pam Ward. We'll see you in just a little while here from College Station. Walk-off home run for Nicole Morgan. A&M beats Baylor. Let's go to the studio.